we are the pods.
It's not pause because I made the things that you cannot make that pause to die.
Hey everyone, what's up? We're back again. He's another member, but he's not a member, but he's a member. I'm joking, guys. My name is Katleho Monama, and I'm part of the team. And so, you know, we have quickly get your name. Let me just get your name again. I'm sorry. It's been a very long day.
It has been a very long name. I'm Alkeme, but with these types of things, it's Alkeme. So it's kind of Alke and me, Alkeme,
Alkeme.
Or Alkeme.
I think that's what I was looking at. I was pronouncing it as Alkeme.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for giving us you guys hosted us really good today. I wanted us to speak to you because germination, when I came here, I understood it as a process of seeds and how, we are able to grow this, plant that we speak about. But you were able to, sum it up as to how that can become a process of, growing yourself, having personal growth, and looking at different areas of your life. Because automatically when you smoke weed, people are just like, oh, hey, there's probably something wrong with you or something. So how important, was the whole session that we had today, and how do we summarize it, to someone who wasn't here with us?
Okay, I'm going to try my best to summarize this the best way I can. I was approached by Boogie saying, hey, do you want to come and talk about germination for life? I'm like, it's a tricky one because he knows me and kind of knows how my brain works and how I like to investigate people. Not investigate, I like people to investigate themselves. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to marry the two? So you kind of really have to go into, what is germination? Okay, germination is growing. Okay, personal growth. I can go with personal growth. I love personal growth. It's a kind of second nature. It's one of my most hardest standing hobbies, I think, that I follow. Habits.
That's amazing. It's a nice hobby.
So then I thought, okay, well, if we're going to talk about personal growth, you have to talk about yourself. You have to think about yourself. You need to evaluate it. So that's introspection. So you need to be introspecting yourself in terms of how you view your life and how you are actioning in your life. So I'm like, okay, so that's introspective. Like you are now investigating different beliefs, different values, different conditioning, social conditioning, many different aspects of your life. So I'm like, okay, so we got to go back to what elements of life are important to us and what are the elements of life that we should be focusing on that we're not necessarily focusing on. And so I've been on a personal development journey for, can't tell you how many years. I've just always had an interest in reading about methods and things that you can use to help yourself along the way. So Dr. Demartini is a very big influence in where I've gained a lot of the understanding that I have in terms of trying to find a balance within your life. And he had a good way of breaking down the different aspects of your life. And so I've taken that concept and I've mended it just a little bit so that it's a little bit more personal to myself and what I think could be relatable to people, given the certain circumstance post-COVID, let's call it PTSD if we will. I think COVID came in and shook us to our core. Everybody was affected by COVID.
Everything was,
not necessarily negatively.
In disarray.
Some people might look at it still negatively.
Some people made money, conditions became better,
Their whole life
what
changed.
I can say, it was a drastic change,
Yeah.
It was just snap, okay, we're here, this is happening.
Exactly.
So to overcome that is a lot.
So Demartini goes into this where he talks about different aspects. So I've kind of compiled a little list of the things. And so we looked at what is financial health. It's a big thing that causes a lot of stress for us. We looked at physical health. Everybody should be paying attention to it, but not everybody is. We looked at mental health, which should be the top priority, especially coming out of COVID. I think everybody had a little bit of a mental health moment in 2020 that woke them up a little bit as to how, and how much self-care is another topic. So you need to go into your self-care to look after your mental health, because if your mental health isn't good, your physical health is going to go backwards. If your physical health is going back, you probably can't make money, so your finances are going backwards.
Yeah.
Can't work on your finances, your career, everything's going to go. So we got to look at these aspects to make sure that we're keeping ourselves in checks, to make sure that we are not reaching danger territory, because that's just going to cause more stress. And if I know anything about stress, it creates too much cortisol in the body, and that, like Boogie was talking in the workshop about pH levels and how important pH levels are within the plants.
Yeah.
And if you are too acidic within your pH level within your body, now we're talking about disease, and we're talking about cancer, and we're talking about a lot of things that stem from the mind but shoot down into the body, because your body is a messenger. You can go into the metaphysicals about ailments within your body, and you can go read up about the science and the psychology behind it. And most likely you will find if you have, I'm not going to go into the specific thing, but that thing could be related to what
that
happened
thing.
to you when
Yeah.
you were 2.
Yeah.
And you can't think, why? No, man, I just pulled my knee. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Subconscious mind is talking to you about something that you have not processed yet, and that you are not looking at,
Yeah,
and that
well-
you are not self-caring for.
I wanted us to actually go that direction, because what I realized most with what I've seen, I mean, when I can make a reference to this, I'm gonna be funny now, but anyway, physical health, I'm not happy with that, clearly. But with that, it works out to something else, because now I might be worried about something else. What am I doing about my physical health, and how important is the ownership of knowing how all of these things interlink?
It got you thinking.
Yeah, it got me, because
It got me
I was thinking the whole time.
It
Like,
got me thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking a bit of accountability.
yeah,
Tough task to take sometimes. Especially, I think, as we transition through life. So I'm just going to touch on the last 2 things that I haven't mentioned, which is our lifestyle.
yeah,
And if you've got comfort in your lifestyle, in doing whatever you want, and that lifestyle is not necessarily mainly focused on the physical, your ego is going to be very comfortable.
yes.
It's going to enjoy staying there, and it's not going to enjoy being challenged. If you challenge it, your mental chatter comes up. It's like, no, but don't do this. And you start having these other types of conversations within yourselves, trying to convince you to go into bad old habits. Not necessarily bad, but older habits. Changing your habit is more a process of convincing your mind that you don't need what you want to change, and reverting that into saying you need more of this. So reprogramming your mind and the way you think and the way you operate and the way you view things. And then the last one that was on the list, I think, was spirituality.
Yeah.
So I think with spirituality, it's a touchy topic, because you don't want to go into digging into people's religion.
Yes.
You don't want to go digging into where they find their faith.
It's a touchy
And
subject.
Yeah.
It's a very touchy subject.
Personal. It's very personal. But whatever is that personal topic to you resonates with you, and you will know what that spirituality means to you then, and what spiritual practices are for you. If it's praying, if it's fasting, if it's meditating, if it's jogging, if whatever resonates with you. I think everybody has their own unique, deep relationship with that topic in life.
Yeah.
So what was your question coming back?
No, so the question was to say, but you already answered it actually, to say the ownership is the more important part.
accountability.
Being accountable to say, I'm in this state of my life, or if one area of my life is not really proper, if I work on that, it would have a ripple effect on everything else.
Right.
That happens. I must say, this place is amazing. We went up the hike. You guys, going up the hike, I didn't know you were going to be giving the, so now I understand why you gave the whole thing, because it was a really nice journey to just go up the mountain. And yeah, so in essence, what would you say, why would you say someone should, invest their time in even, looking at investing in Grow One Africa, or investing in social clubs directly? What would you say to that?
You asking me why I think it's important for people to join social clubs.
To avoid, because now what I'm seeing is in different areas and communities, you find that a lot of people now are subjected to being arrested.
Yes.
And this is a safe haven for people to be able to sit down and, indulge in something that they have been doing all along.
Safely.
It's part of one of the questions. It's slightly just like the question asked.
Okay,
Boogie.
so let me...
Yeah.
I'll take this on a personal level.
Yeah.
I personally joined the social club because I needed to integrate within the community, because I had the deep understanding, thanks to COVID and thanks to losing a lot of things and a lot of people, how important it is to have support structure. And if you don't have support and you think you're almighty and you can manage on your own, you're going to manage, but it's going to take a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more difficult doing everything that you want to do, where it would have been a little bit easier if you had more support, friends, family, wherever the community you think might come from.
Healthy
So-
relations, basically.
Yes,
Healthy
and making sure that, because relationships are part of your self-care. It's, you need to be able to relate to people. You need to be able to feel connected to people. You want to have a space where you feel like you can start expressing yourself in your authenticity and that you're going to be accepted in that way. So I joined the joint, I think, a year ago now. December or January would be a year. And I did that because I moved here for the second time. I've been here before, but everybody I had here from the previous time have all left. And so I was looking at ways for my self-care to find a space where I can go and make a new community. I need to make new friends. Friends are important to me. I got a lot of things I like to do in life, and I like someone to have a do it with me, right? So I joined the joint, and then I heard they do workshops. I'm like, oh, double whammy for me, because I love learning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is going to be great for me. Signed up for the first workshop, can't even remember what it was about. And I'm like, okay, send me into the later session, because I'm assuming people like you and I like sleeping a little bit later.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll come to the later
Yes.
session.
Nap times are best.
Yes. So I booked for the later session, rocked up, got there. Everybody joined the morning session. I'm like, oh, there goes my opportunity now to make my friends, because that's kind of why I'm here. I don't care what I'm going to learn. I just like learning, but I want to be here for the people.
Yeah.
And so I actually value that happened, because I got the opportunity then to sit with Boogie and some of the founding members and a few other members. And I kind of had like a private teaching. I'm like, this is cool. And I felt like I made friends that day. And they all were very welcoming, very inviting, and very open to talk about whatever.
Yeah.
And so, fast forwarding a little bit, the benefit of joining a social club is the connection that you build with people, and it's the networking opportunities that you get.
Yeah.
You walk with many different people of all lives, coming from many different
All
places.
walks of life.
And you don't
Yeah.
know who they know. You don't
You
know
don't
what
know
they
who
know.
they associated with, what they are associated with.
Exactly.
So do you host workshops outside of this setting?
So this is now
Out
the
to the
beauty
public.
of this question,
Uh-huh.
is that I've been on a journey for developing Alkeme, which for me is transformational coaching, transformational lifestyle coaching. And I've been delving in and out of developing methods that I find I can use with people to help them investigate themselves, to kind of just help them steer along their flow in life and what resonates with them and what they find interesting. So I've been on a journey with Boogie, and been making quite a few suggestions in terms of lifestyle changes, and we've been working out together sometimes, and eating habits, and all these things we've been looking at a little bit.
So
because
there's
I keep popping
a vast
questions.
improvement. So to put it that way, ever since you've joined here, this is your
For
community.
myself,
Yes. For you,
And then
that's,
the beauty
that's
that
a great
came
thing.
out of it was that now this man gave me the opportunity to have this platform to share all of this information with you. So I've always been prone to doing one-on-one sessions with people. So this is the first workshop. That's why I don't know if you remember I said, so this is an experiment.
Yes.
You don't know the outcome. I don't know the outcome. so this is years of work
Yeah.
that's been put together because I had a bit of a notch
Yeah.
pushed in the right direction.
And you created the diagrams basically.
Yes.
Because wow, this is such an amazing representation of
Thank
your
you.
goals. Speaking about goals, your workshop.
So
Goal
this was
setting.
kind of a starter workshop, and then we spoke of maybe having a goal setting workshop in the coming months in January.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to change in January. It's this other stigma that you think that, oh no, I'll do it then. I'll do it then. So we procrastinate, then we don't take up accountability for ourselves. But with what we did with the workshop today, as we broke down what challenges you face yourself seeing within each area of that life, and also coming up with your solutions, and then also rating yourself in terms of how you feel, in terms of your satisfaction within each area of your life, but then also maybe having a look down the road for 6 months, because we often don't do that unless someone else has come and put a plan in for us, you know. So when you look at changing the scale from where you are now to where you would like to be in 6 months, you start seeing what you would like to change. And by doing that, you're getting goals. You're getting things that you now can see on a piece of paper. It's like, maybe I didn't even think that this was part of the process, but now it is part of the process. And now it could be maybe that today somebody got inspired to begin a fitness journey and they want a six-pack. Now they need to break that down. It's not an overnight process. You need to look at your timelines. You need to look at the realistic aspect of things. How much time do you have? How much energy do you have? How much resources do you have? How much support do you have? How much challenge do you have? And then to break your things down into very tangible pieces and to make a timeline and deadlines for yourself. But you have to be accountable. But you can also rely on your community and ask for support and accountability. And so hopefully in January we will have a goal setting workshop, which is kind of like a follow up on this. But I don't think people have to have done this workshop
so that
to
they
be
can
able
relate
to
to the
do
other
that.
one.
No.
But I love it because, you know, my highlight was the fact that, you know, you become so honest with yourself.
Yes.
Even when you don't want to, because you're sitting there and you're coloring and you're like, but am I really honest? Is 5 really the number? And, you know, you then have a conversation with yourself to say, you know, what am I taking from being here?
Right.
And how is that going to ultimately, you know, affect my life and improve, you know, our life? We can never always say we're perfect, but it's always amazing to, you know, to listen as to how someone else can be able to give you something.
Right.
You know, so I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I loved this workshop. It made me see, because there was a step which said, what do you need to do in order to, to amend whatever you feel like is broken, or to get what you think is missing. And there was a time where I literally turned back. I'm like, and I think I asked someone, I was like, are there times where you feel like you're being too hard on yourself? Because I went back and I increased it. I'm like, I'm actually doing good here. I was just the one undermining myself. Because as I went step by step to write what I need to do, but I'm like, I'm already doing this, you know. So I feel like as a human being in general, you also have to be very forgiving, yet doing the right thing that's beneficial for you and your personal growth.
Right.
You know,
and
like
having compassion
self-awareness
for yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
But the journey of self-awareness is so interesting, because everybody will be focusing on whatever is important to them. So going through the filters and the beliefs and the things, everybody, I think, on a subconscious level is critical towards themselves. But having the awareness that you are critical towards yourself, and now on top of that, having the awareness that you are in the seat of power to change that. But how do you do it? That's where the journey of
that you have the power to
self-development.
change it. That as much as you can say that, man, I'm not really doing that good, there's a way in which, you know, you can actually do good, because there's solutions to that. And probably you might know it if you just have a conversation with yourself.
It all goes down to believing in yourself. If you believe that, listen,
And
I
that
can
spirituality
change.
comes in.
Yes, I can change.
Amazing. I know Onkhopezo wanted to touch on, we had a young game where we had to write names. You want to touch on that?
So each crew member was asked a certain question.
Yes.
All right. And for some odd reason, we had this bunch of amazing, you know, results coming from that game and engaging topics.
Yes.
Yeah, so what
What's
questions
that
did you ask?
what was that? Yeah, is
I
that part of the
question-
exercise, or is it,
It's
you
like,
know?
you know, I was like, that is so amazing. That is actually a great idea. We were all impressed, like, oh, wow.
So when we were on the mountain, I can't remember who it was, said that, it's joint talks.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. What do you talk about? Like, obvious joint conversation. I'm like, that could be anything. And then you said, yeah, it's anything. I'm like, I'm sure there must be some stuff that you haven't spoken about. So I'm like, oh, I got an idea. So I kept that till the end because I wanted you to go through everything first and not be too distracted by it, because you can get very deep into it. So I love asking people weird questions. And so I thought what I could do is to ask everybody, what's the most taboo topic that we don't talk about but should talk about? I thought I could open it up and say it loudly for everyone, but I didn't want it to become a discussion. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask everyone exactly the same question, maybe rephrase it a little bit, so that you can then go into your filter system to see what resonates with you in terms of what you maybe find taboo. So now if you go back to the question, it's taboo for you, it's not necessarily taboo for everybody else.
True.
But then, the topics that came out of it was pretty interesting.
It was pretty nice, and I really can't wait to, actually extend the session that we had on the episode. And it was very lovely. I mean, if you want to share your details, for everyone who, and anyone
maybe post vlogs,
work.
something around spirituality and germination, the personal growth.
Everyone deserves this. This is a self-discovery journey. Everyone deserves this.
Definitely doing that. You guys are now also part of this nudge. And it's kind of on top of me very quickly. So what I can say is I have a Discord channel. So that's a platform that you can use. I don't know if anybody knows Discord. I spontaneously one morning just decided, okay, I'm going to start this thing because for November, and maybe you would like to take on this challenge. I started a November challenge with myself. I took this inventory with myself. I'm like, okay, what needs to change? So a highlight for me is in terms of my personal health and physical health and mental health, because my body has been speaking to me in terms of my face. I've been getting teenage freaking acne for the past few months, and I have no idea what's going on. So I'm like, okay, something's going on. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna detox completely. So I'm like, no toxins. So now I'm not even washing my hair with normal shampoo. It's baking soda and apple cider vinegar, because that's natural to balance my pH on my head. And I got toxin-free soaps for my face because I need to change something. And then I woke up just before, I think it was the 31st of last month, and I woke up the next, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to say maybe a lot of people would like to challenge themselves in an area and where they would like to challenge to say no to something, what they normally say yes to, which is challenging so that they can then grow, but maybe don't have the community or the support to go with it. So I made a little Facebook page, quickly created a Discord channel, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with it. And then kind of nothing went, and I'm off personal social media and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, if anyone's then going to connect with me, they're going to connect with that Discord. So I can.
So you have no social media?
I do have social media, but it is not directed towards this
your personal social media.
So the Discord one is much better.
The Discord one, I can then send a link to the joint, and the joint can maybe send
put it down in our show notes.
We're going to definitely have it in the comment section.
We're definitely going to have it.
But this has been amazing, and thank you so much for the hike. Any highlights quickly as we close? For the hike, I loved the hike.
Man, that was amazing. And I was like, when we started, I'm like, yo, this is hard. I wonder where we going, But I mean, I'm overwhelmed to have met a person like you. Thank you for giving us this platform to also have a deeper, insight into our lives. And thank you for having this, dope joint conversation with us.
We can have a few more I have a final question I can leave you all with.
All right, yes.
So, and you can take your time to think about it. And you can do the same exercise, write it down on a little thingy and then pick one out. So, if you could ask God, or whatever your perception or belief around that is, if you could ask one question, what would you ask?
Okay, all right. We'll write it down, and maybe we'll do the young exercise behind this. But thank you so much for allowing us to speak to you.
Thank you for allowing me to sit here.
Yeah.
This is,
Stand deep.
it's been a domino. When one goes, everything goes.
Yeah.
It feels like that for me today. So thank you for joining. Thank you for participating. And thank you for your lovely feedback as well. And thank you for taking the time to look at yourself. And with all of this, I also just want to say, look at the things that are going well as well. Be grateful for it. And really appreciate all the effort that you contribute towards your self-growth. And don't just go sit in the area that you feel you are lacking. It's simply an observational point for you to now be able to make a change for yourself.
Amazing inspirational words, man.
Amazing, we love it.
Thank you so much.
And we loved,
It's the
this
Joint
whole experience.
Podcast.
It's the Joint Podcast.
But anyway, please subscribe, guys. It's always amazing. This place is called The Joints. Please make sure that you check them out. Subscribe to the channel. Twitter, Instagram.
_podcast ZA, Instagram The Joint Podcasts, TikTok The Joint Podcasts, and we're good to go. YouTube The Joint Podcast.
The Joint
Podcast. We about the pot.
Easy, guys.
Love and peace.
Joint time, boy.